Hello and welcome back to the Wrestling Group. I am your host Ryan, and today we're going to be ranking every WrestleMania match of CM Punk's career. So CM Punk wrestled in his first WrestleMania in 12 years the other weekend when he faced off against Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins in the main event of night one of WrestleMania 41. So it felt like now would be the perfect time to go back and look at every one of Punk's Mania matches so far and, of course, rank them. So Punk has wrestled in 8 WrestleMania matches, so we will rank them from 8 being the worst down to number 1, with that being named the greatest CM Punk match in WrestleMania history. And as always, feel free to leave your rankings of CM Punk's WrestleMania matches in the comment section below. And don't forget, as always, to hit that subscribe button while you do. So we'll start with number 8, and it is CM Punk versus Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania 26. Now, this should come as no surprise. This match comes in as Punk's worst WrestleMania match. This is mainly due to the match lasting just 6 minutes. For the short time they were given, they did try to make the most of it and cram as much as possible into the match. And Punk tried his best to assert some sort of story into the match as well, as he pulled off some decent heel work. Now, Punk and Mysterio showed some good chemistry in the ring that proved this match should have been given a lot more time. If Rey had have lost the match, he would have had to join Punk's Straight Edge Society faction, but that wasn't to be, as Rey Mysterio was the one to pick up the victory. So in at number 7, the Money in the Bank ladder match at WrestleMania 24. Now, CM Punk has only been in 3 Money in the Bank ladder matches at WrestleMania, winning 2 of them. This match consisted of CM Punk, Shelton Benjamin, Chris Jericho, Carlito, MVP, Mr. Kennedy, and John Morrison. And to be honest, it wasn't easy to place the Money in the Bank ladder matches, as they were pretty similar and had similar wrestlers in each of the matches. But having said that, this one comes in as the worst of the 3. This was Punk's first Money in the Bank win and was ultimately the reason he ended up being in the main event scene going forward. This match lasted around 15 minutes, and the competitors did well to be able to land as much as they did in a short period of time, which isn't easy when you have 7 guys in the match at the same time. CM Punk winning went over very, very well with the fans in attendance. So in at number 6 is the Money in the Bank ladder match for WrestleMania 25. Now, in a shockingly bold move, WWE decided that they would have CM Punk win back-to-back Money in the Bank matches at WrestleMania. This match, of course, would consist of CM Punk, Shelton Benjamin, MVP, Kane, Christian, Finlay, Mark Henry, and Kofi Kingston. As usual, Shelton Benjamin was like a human highlight reel in this match, with Kofi Kingston trying his best to match him. When Christian climbed the ladder near the finish, the fans went wild as they clearly wanted him to win. But that would not be the case, as Kane would climb up and chokeslam him down to the mat. CM Punk would then climb up and kick Kane down before pulling the briefcase down for his second Money in the Bank victory in a row. So in at number 5, you've guessed it, it's the Money in the Bank ladder match at WrestleMania 23. You probably guessed by the way this list was going that the other ladder match would be next. This match consisted of CM Punk, Mr. Kennedy, Finlay, Booker T, Matt Hardy, Edge, Randy Orton, and Jeff Hardy. A pretty star-studded ladder match. It's funny how the one Money in the Bank ladder match that CM Punk doesn't actually win comes in as my highest ranked of the 3. Now, Jeff Hardy's leg drop onto Edge was one of the highlights of the match. This match for me was put together better than the other 2. Every spot was built up well, interactions between each of the competitors were solid, and the match itself was unpredictable a statement which was confirmed by the eventual winner, Mr. Kennedy. If this list was ranked based on the winners rather than the match quality, then this would have came in last, as not only did he get the case taken from him before he could cash it in, given the talent in the match to begin with, let's face it, Mr. Kennedy shouldn't have been the winner. So in at number 4, we have CM Punk versus Randy Orton at WrestleMania 27. Now, WrestleMania 27 was not a great pay-per-view. It included Michael Cole versus Jerry Lawler and was main evented by The Miz versus John Cena. Now, CM Punk versus Randy Orton was probably the second best match of the night, after, of course, Undertaker versus Triple H. This match was during Punk's time as the leader of the Nexus, and after being heavily involved in the build-up to the match, they were actually banned from ringside during the WrestleMania match. Both guys showed great chemistry with one another in the ring, and the action was solid and the counters were great. The match was built a lot around Orton using the Punk kick at the time, but when it came to it, Orton was unable to pull the trigger and would instead have to use an RKO out of nowhere to gain the victory instead. CM Punk was riding big momentum going into this match as a top heel, so it was disappointing that he lost, as it then played a part in derailing of said momentum. Like I said, if it had gone based on victories, this would have been higher up the list, because let's face it, there's no reason CM Punk shouldn't have won this match. So in at number 3, it's CM Punk versus Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 41. That's right, the latest WrestleMania match from CM Punk's career has come in third. Now, this match was built up from the Royal Rumble pay-per-view, and the build-up, to be fair, was pretty decent. Punk was owed a favour from Paul Heyman, and he would then later reveal that the favour was for Paul Heyman to once again be in his corner as his manager at WrestleMania. Now, WWE did want to make sure that fans knew that Punk had always wanted to main event a WrestleMania pay-per-view going into this match, and that is pretty much the only reason he made this the main event of night 1. Now, I have to admit, even though this was a great match with some good in-ring action, keeping most involved, looking strong, we had the table spots outside the ring. The only issue for me in this is it was probably higher up because of the other two guys in it. CM Punk just looks gassed after 5-10 minutes in the ring now. But luckily, with it being a triple threat, the other guys could go to work on each other while Punk had a little rest on the odd occasion. Now, the end of this one was good, albeit predictable, as Paul Heyman turned on both CM Punk and Roman Reigns and then aligned himself with Seth Rollins, who would then go on to claim the victory. So in at number 2 is CM Punk versus Chris Jericho for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 28. Now, this is the only title match that Punk has ever been involved in at WrestleMania, and it was for his WWE Championship. Both guys are claimed to be the best in the world, so it was only natural that they would end up facing off on the grandest stage of them all. This match was really solid, with both guys putting in solid showings. The only negative thing I have to say about this technically sound match was the added stipulation that if Punk was to be disqualified, he would in fact still lose his WWE Championship. This unfortunately became too much of a tool at times, with Jericho focusing too much on trying to get Punk DQ'd rather than to try and pick up the victory by pinfall. And the end of this match was pretty good, which would see Punk retain his title via submission, much to the pleasure of the crowd. So that means there's only one left, and in at number 1, the greatest CM Punk match at WrestleMania is CM Punk vs. The Undertaker at WrestleMania 29. Now, the old saying goes, you're only as good as your last match, And this was certainly the case with Punk's in terms of WrestleMania matches before the other weekend. His last match before WrestleMania 41 was, in fact, this match. So it's a surprise that, obviously he then went and left the company, but to think that before he had that big hiatus, that he had probably one of the best matches of his career, let alone WrestleMania. They also say that if you can't be in a World Championship match at WrestleMania, the next best thing to do is face the dead man on the grandest stage of them all. And after WWE decided to take the title from Punk, much to the annoyance of both Punk and, of course, the fans, this felt like an apology match. Sorry you couldn't have this, but you can have the next best thing. Anyway, I'm rambling a bit. Back to the actual match itself. Punk's cowardly heel performance worked so well in this match against the ever-focused Undertaker. It had been a while since Taker's urn had played a big part in a story or match, so that was a good throwback when it was used here. The technical work was top class, and there was some really good near falls where you believed that CM Punk could actually break the legendary streak. But ultimately, it was not to be, as The Undertaker was victorious and kept the streak intact until a year later, and by that time CM Punk had already left the WWE. So there you have it, every CM Punk WrestleMania match ranked from worst to best. And do you agree with our list? Let us know in the comments section below. And as always, don't forget to hit that like, leave us a comment, and subscribe to the Wrestling Group today.